Hi there, wherever you're joining us from in the world today, I want to give you a very warm welcome here as we turn to the Word at Destiny Online. Do you know what? Whenever we open up God's Word, we should have an expectation that something is going to change in our life and through our life. Why? Because the Bible tells us that the Word of God is living and active. And it goes where nothing else can go. It speaks to us in a way that nothing else can speak to us. It impacts our life in a way that nothing else can. So be open, be filled with expectation that God is going to communicate to you, that God's going to impact you through His Word. Here at Destiny in Germany, we're part of a worldwide network called Destiny Ministries. And throughout this month of July, we are joining with all other churches part of that network worldwide for a moment that we're calling Surge. Surge is actually our annual conference. And normally we meet all together, several thousands of people in one place to celebrate together, to have input and teaching and an awesome time of equipping for the purposes that God has for us. This year we're doing everything online because our world is in a state where we're not allowed to travel all over the place and come together as normal. And so throughout this month, we're putting up input and teaching online as part of Surge, what we're calling this kind of Surge moments on the social media platforms and websites, etc. And I would encourage you to go there and to get that content and listen to it and be really encouraged. But as part of this moment online, we're having a main theme that's coming through everything. And we're calling that Soul Purpose. And really coming back to the sole purpose, the main purpose that Jesus gave us as Christians. And we're looking at that, we're coming back to that and focusing in on that throughout this month. And so as part of that, our teaching series throughout this month is going to be around what that theme is, sole purpose. And so I guess we need to say, well, what is that purpose? What is that main theme that Jesus gave us? Do you know what? This season has shown us, probably like no other season, that it's not about the big event. It's not about how many people we can get into one room. And it also in this season, many people are asking questions they've never asked before. What's my life all about? Where's my life going? What's happening in the world? What's this all about? And maybe you've been having questions like that too. But you know what? Jesus made it really clear and really simple and actually answers both of those questions in one statement that he made. Jesus said in Matthew 28:19, "Therefore go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I've given you." So Jesus here answers that question, what's my purpose as a Christian? Answer, go and make disciples. Go and help people follow Jesus. So if you're a Christian here today saying, what have I to do with my life? What's God's plan and purpose for my life? Here is the answer that Jesus said. This is what I want you to go and do. I want you to give your time, your effort, your focus to the following. Make disciples. And if you're wondering today, I don't know Jesus, and I've been asking that second question throughout this season, thinking, what's life all about? Here's what life's all about. Following Jesus, getting to know Jesus, building a relationship with Jesus, coming back to the God who made you, the God who loves you, the God who wants a relationship with you. Come into relationship with Him, follow Him, learn from Him, walk with Him, do life with Him. And so really in these verses there in Matthew 28:19 to 20, it focuses both of those questions and brings great simplicity to those questions many people are asking. But let me say this, given this is what Jesus said we were to do, the question is, are we doing it? The question is for every Christian to reflect and to think and to be honest and say, as a Christian, I'm a follower of Jesus. He's my Lord. He's my boss. He's the person who says what I should be doing and how I should be living. And he said here, this is what I want you to do. Go and help other people follow me. Go and tell people about me, and then help them walk with me and do life with me. So here's a question. Are you and I doing that? Are we really doing that? And if we're not doing that, regardless of what else we're doing, see, we as human beings have this wonderful ability, don't we, to justify, to bring every excuse out of the book, to explain everything away. Well, I'm not quite doing that because. And we have all the reasons, and we have all the excuses, and we have all of that pretty much pre-prepared because we put off knowing sometimes what we're meant to be doing, and we cover it up with a load of reasons as to why we're not doing it. And it sounds in our head really plausible and really understandable, and we think God's going to look at it and speak to us and go, well, yeah, I can see that. Well, you've got a pretty good reason for not doing it. I really understand how things are for you just now. I really understand you've got maybe other priorities just now. I can see, yeah, you need to get through this season first, or yeah, I can see why that might not be really appropriate right now, or you might feel that you can't do that right. Tell you what, that's fine. Just come back and tell me when all that changes. But here's the truth. Life has a way of not really bringing a perfect moment where we feel, okay, right, everything's in order now. Everything's just as I want it now. Everything is just as it should be now, with perfect conditions for me now to do what Jesus has told me to do. The truth is that day will never come. So the question for us all is, in this season, in our life, in every season, are we doing what Jesus said to do so clearly in what Christians call the Great Commission? This is what Jesus said he wants you and I to do. So let's just bring this down to a very simple command from Jesus and a very simple request from Jesus that we should do this. So if we are to go and make disciples, what does that look like? What does that look like? Well, throughout this month, we're going to look at this theme. We're going to break it down. And we're going to go on a journey of seeing what that looks like for us personally and for us as we help others on that journey. And maybe, just maybe, you are watching today and you're saying, I'm just looking in. I am not yet a follower of Jesus, but I want to know more. I want to say to you, we want to help you follow Jesus. We want to help you do exactly what we're just here talking about. When it comes to discipleship, which is the term that's often used for exactly what we're talking about, it's clear from the Bible that that means three things at least. All of us should always be the following. We should always be a disciple, and that means the following three things. First of all, it means being a learner. The Bible word for disciple means a learner. And that word disciple has built into it that English word discipline. Someone who is saying, I'm willing to apply myself to learn, to study, to find out, to look into. I'm not closed. I'm not going to assume I know everything. And following Jesus is discovering a whole new life. It's discovering a whole new direction of life. It's discovering a whole new world. It's discovering a whole new government. It's what the word kingdom means. Come and live under Jesus' kingdom means live under his government. So it's a bit like saying, hey, Jesus is saying, welcome to my country, and this is how things go here. I come from Scotland. I live in Germany. And when we moved here, we had to learn this is how things roll here in Germany. This is how the community functions and works here. This is how the school system works. This is how the banking system works. This is how the dividing up of your glass bottles work into the green glass, the brown glass, and the white glass. You can't just chuck it all into the one thing. We had to learn just how stuff happens in this new country. And we had to be learners. So although I was in my early 30s, when I moved from Scotland and wasn't exactly new to life and knew how to bank and I went through school, etc. When it came to living in this new country under a new government and new ways, I had to start learning new things. And so we have 2 children, and they're currently going through the school system here in Germany. And we've had to learn, oh, that's how they do it. Oh, that's how this works here. Oh, that's how many years a primary school is compared to back in Scotland. Oh, that's how they do marking. That's how they set the things up here. I remember having to sit with bank managers or bank representatives and say, like, how do I do this here? How does the banking system work here? What about health insurance? In Great Britain, where I come from, there's a national health insurance system. And here it's, the Krankenkasse, and how that works is all very different. And so we've had to go on a learning journey. Maybe you, where you are, have had to go on a similar journey, and it's like that when we become a Christian. You're saying, and so a disciple is someone who's willing to learn a new way of life and to keep on being a lifelong learner, because Jesus is always showing us and always teaching us the way in which to follow him and to live in God's kingdom. And secondly, as being a learner, we're also to be a follower. That was the invite that Jesus gave people, isn't it? He went to brothers in a boat and said, follow me. He went to a tax collector and said, follow me. And to that group of people that we call the disciples in the Bible, Jesus' invite to them wasn't learn a theory from me, wasn't read a book about me, wasn't Google me. It was follow me, walk in my footsteps, do as I do, be with me, watch how I live, follow my example. And that's really what Jesus is saying to us still today. Watch how I live, look how I live, just live how I lived, follow my ways, and it will go well. And then thirdly, a disciple is a doer, someone that does something. With Jesus, for these disciples, people who were following him and learning from him, it was on-the-job training. It was in the middle of life. This is how to handle this. This is how to act. And they learned by doing, and sometimes learned by going off doing things and not getting it quite right. And they came back to Jesus on one occasion and said, hey, we tried to pray for these guys and nothing happened. And Jesus said, yeah, but do it this way, not that way. They didn't sit on the sidelines until Jesus said, here's your certificate of graduation from my discipleship school. It was on the job in the middle of life, even as they were on a journey themselves of learning, of following. He was also saying, do it, put it into practice. Let's go for this together. And that's what Jesus does with us today. In the middle of life, life to life, he says, learn from me, be open to my teaching, follow me, watch how I do stuff, and you do it in your context as well as you go. But also, not just that we ourselves are disciples of Jesus, but we also need to be helping others in their journey with Jesus. And in fact, if we really do what Jesus said to do in Matthew 28, 19 to 20, that belongs to it. And so if I'm saying I'm a follower of Jesus, if you're saying you're a follower of Jesus, part of that is doing exactly what he said, make disciples, help them follow me. And we all have the same amount of time, don't we? Whether we're a president, a king, a politician, or a mum or a dad, or wherever we are on social spectrum, all of us have the same amount of time. And we all decide how we get to use that time. All of us have the ability to look at our day and say, right, I'm going to take charge here of my time. If you're not doing that, you need to look at that and say, I'm not going to start blaming everybody else. I'm going to look at the usage of my time and use it for the purposes that are important. And that's exactly what we do with time. We use time for the things that we consider are important. And so we look at our diary and we put into that diary the things that we feel that is really important to me. And so for some people, there's always time for the gym. Always time for the gym. There is, for others, always time for the favourite television show. That is sacrosanct, is in the diary, that's it. Tuesdays at that time, I'm watching that programme. There's always time to meet up with our best friends. I always meet up with this person or that person, or we say, look, it's really important to me that we get time together. I'm going to meet with you. Or there's always time to eat, isn't there? Oh, I'm starving. Look, I can't do anything else until I eat. And I'm structured with that. And there's always time to sleep. So whatever's important to us, we make time for. I want to challenge us today. I want to challenge you today, particularly if you're a Christian watching. And that's with this. Are you using any time to help people follow Jesus? Are you using any of your time to do that? Or if you were to sit and say, wait a minute, let me look at all my diary and all my life. I'm busy doing life, I'm busy working, and I've got all this stuff going on. I'm maybe serving in a team in church, maybe making something technical happen. I'm maybe watching lots of stuff online. But if I really am honest with myself, is my life being invested into at least one other person's life in a real tangible way to help them follow Jesus? Am I making at least one disciple? Be honest with yourself, because this is what Jesus said to do. And as I said, this month we're coming back under that theme, soul purpose, saying, wait a minute, bring it right back to the basics. What's Jesus asked me to do, and am I doing it? Am I helping someone else learn from Jesus? Am I helping someone else follow Jesus? Am I helping someone else do what Jesus has asked them to do? We all need to check our priorities sometimes and look at our diaries. Because sometimes when that question is given to us, our immediate response is, well, I know that verse, and it's a famous verse, but Liam, I'm really busy. I've got a ton on at work. I've got a growing family. I've got lots of things going on just now. Look, it's just I'll get to that. Or yeah. And you know what? The truth is, all of those things are important. The things going on in our life, our families, our work, all of that's really important. But here's a verse that we need to be mindful of. And it's found in Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3 to 4. It says this, do nothing from selfish or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. So the Bible isn't saying our own interests, our own needs and own things are not important, but it's saying don't only look to those things. You should also, and we should also be looking to the needs of others. And the truth is, sometimes we get so caught up with our own world, our own busyness, and our own stress that we make it all about us. And Jesus says it's not only all about you, and it's not only all about me. There are people who do not know me. They need help to find me. They need help to understand a new life. They need help to walk and to follow me. I need you to think of others. I need you to think of them. Don't just get so caught up in your own busyness and life and delude yourself and think it's all about me and I'm not in the place to. When Jesus says, no, please stop. Have this attitude that he gives to us in Philippians 2 in verse 3 to 4. It's not all about you. It's not all about your importance. It's not all about me and my importance. We should stop and think about the needs of others. And there is a world that needs to know and how to connect with Jesus. And when they do, how to live out a brand new life. Ask yourself, am I doing that? As somebody once said, life is measured not by its duration, but by its donation. What are you depositing? What are you investing into the life of others in this way that Jesus is telling us to do so? Sometimes we think, well, I just don't feel ready for that, or I don't feel I can. And that wonderful word feel is like a get out of jail free card for so many things. Because we base everything on our decisions and feelings and emotions, and we justify and we justify and make it all correct in our own mind. But you know what? Feelings go up and down, and we cannot live like that. Sometimes I don't feel like loving everyone, but Jesus says, love one another. Sometimes I don't feel like just forgiving, but Jesus said, forgive. If you and I live by our feelings, we're going to do a lot of crazy stuff. You know how many times sometimes you've had an argument, or your kid has wound you up and you just go, I feel. If you acted on that feeling, that's not good. Sometimes we've got to get hold of ourselves and say, wait a minute here. I'm going to make a decision. And here is a decision that we should make. In John 15, verse 13, says this, greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends. That's what Jesus said he did for us. And he's saying, hey, do likewise. That means following Jesus, doesn't it? That's what following Jesus means. Jesus, that's what we said, the pattern, how you're living, I'm going to live. Jesus, you laid down your life. You took a decision. It wasn't an emotional decision. It was, I will decide to lay down my life for you. I will lay down my preferences for you. I will lay down my diary for you. I will lay down my priorities for you. You are my priority. And he's calling us to do likewise. Greater love is no one than this, than one who lays down his life for his friends. That means I'm going to make space for people. I'm going to take time to invest in people in this way. I'm going to make any changes that are necessary in order for me to be at least helping one person follow Jesus. I'm going to say, here I am, Lord, use me. Here I am, Lord, ready to do the very thing that you told me to do. Ready to do what Christians are meant to do. Here I am, I'm deciding now this will be in my life as a permanent feature. So I want to encourage you today to make the decision to do what we're talking about, to come back to that sole purpose that Christ has called us to. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 11 verse 1, follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. All of us, every one of us who calls ourselves a Christian should be saying, I'm following Christ. I'm following his example. And we're able to say to others, follow me. I will show you. I will help you. I will model for you. I will invest into you. I will help you in this journey. But the interesting thing is this, in another place in the Word, Paul says he describes himself as the chief of all sinners, the worst of all sinners. And so often we say, how can I help anybody? Look at me, I'm still on a journey. I'm still messing up. I'm still struggling with some stuff. I'm really trying my best to follow Jesus. But there's some areas where I just think, man, I'm not making it. I'm just stuck with that sin. How can I help anybody else? I want to say to you, hey, first of all, your history, your story can give someone else a future. What you've gone through, what you're going through, and how you come through it can exactly help someone else see it's possible to come through and into what God has for them, even struggling sometimes with some issues. The reality of your reality is what helps. And God is not looking for you and I to wait till we're perfect. He's saying, do this imperfectly. Do this as you are. Because you're never going to get to that place of perfection where you, as I said, you graduate and feel, okay, I can do this now. No, on your journey, include other people in that journey. You can help someone exactly where you are. And if you've known Jesus more than 2 minutes, you know him more than someone who doesn't know him yet. If you've known Jesus 1 year, you know him better than someone who's maybe only been saved for 2 months. You, right where you are, as imperfect as we all are, on a journey as we all are, we are to carry out the command of Jesus that said, go and help others know me, follow me, make changes in your life, lay your life down, build them into your life, invest into them, help them, take time, prioritize, do it. Are you doing it? Are we doing it? Or do we need to change something here? And the final thing to say is this. What is this all about at the end of the day? What is it we're really trying to do when it comes to helping people follow Jesus? I heard someone say a few weeks ago this phrase which I think just sums it up beautifully. And it's this. Discipleship is about helping people connect their story to God's big story. Discipleship is about helping people connect their story to God's big story. Helping people see and understand how their life fits into the big story of Jesus, into the big story of what God wants to do with their life, into the big story of how their life fits into God's master plan of the kingdom of God, filling the earth. And we're saying, let me help you see. Let me help you walk into. Let me help you fulfill. Let me cheer you on. And it's an awesome joy, privilege, and pleasure to do that. And so with humility ourselves, we are modeling then to others what it means to know and to follow Jesus on this adventure. So I'm following Christ. I have people who are helping me on that journey and discipling me. And I'm saying then, God, I need that. And I'm thankful for those people in my life. But God, I'm also going to help model this to others, and all together cheering on, helping, inputting, strengthening, and encouraging each other to follow Jesus, making disciples. And let's take that clear, simple challenge, teaching and instruction from Jesus today. And maybe in this next season, there's adjustments and changes that needed in our diaries. But the first thing that's needed is this, a willingness that says, here I am, God. I am willing and ready to make disciples. I'm coming back to the sole purpose that you've called me to. Do you know what? As I said, maybe today you're listening and you're a Christian. This is a challenge to you to say, come on, let's do this. Maybe today you're listening and watching and saying, as yet, I've not made the decision to follow Jesus, but I want to. Well, here is a chance for you to do this. If you're watching on our online platform right now, just on your screen there will be something appearing saying, I commit my life to Jesus. We would ask you, if you want to make that decision right now, click that. And then it will say, do you want prayer? And I would say to you, click that as well. And that connects you then immediately with one of us, the pastors or leaders. And we'll pray with you, and we'll do exactly what we've been talking about. Help you take a step on that journey with Jesus. You can do that right now. If you're watching on YouTube or another platform, there's text underneath this video message that will help you connect with us so we can help you in this way. Thank you so much for joining with us. Journey with us throughout the next few weeks of this month as we come around this subject, as we look at it and focus it in different angles and different ways. And I would love you to join us on this journey. God bless and have a fantastic week. Cheers. Bye-bye. Hey, Pastor Liam here. Thank you so much for having joined us for that word. I really hope that it blessed you and encouraged you. And you know what? If it did that for you, maybe it's going to do that for someone else as well. So why don't you share the link on social media, give it a like, and get the word out. If you would like to sow financially into the ministry here in Europe, you can do so by scanning the QR code or hitting the link in the details below. Thank you so much. We would love to hear from you, so why don't you connect with us and contact us, and the details of how you can do that will be appearing on the screen shortly. We would really love to know who's listening and how it's helping you. Hey, God bless you. Stay in touch, stay healthy, stay well, stay blessed. Praying for you. Bye-bye.